Friday, what's today, Tuesday, Mr. Brantley Helmison on the Live Oak Housing Authority. I'll give you all a copy of that for your records. And I do have some applications if anyone knows of anybody interested. I do see that I'm referred to in number 7D, so I can wait to respond there, or we can do that now.
7-1, I'm sorry.
7D.
I'll wait till, I need you to wait until 7D come up as my agenda item. All right.
That's all, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving on. Item 7A is actually comes up first as my item. Discussion with possible council action downtown parking solutions and through traffic improvement on Highway 129 and 90. So I don't think it's any secret that there's definitely issues with through traffic, especially on Highway 129 north and south. It's been a battle, I guess would be fair to say, with sometimes with DOT and trying to determine if we can eliminate the turn lane and making it only a turn lane right there at Highway 129 and 90 when you're going north or south. Some of the issues are there's parking in front of some of the businesses there along 129. In an effort and an attempt to try and alleviate both problems and try to come up with a solution, I would really like for us to consider, and obviously this is consideration, and authorizing Mr. Our city manager, excuse me, Mr. Sessions, the authority to go and maybe kind of talk with the, he does discuss back and forth with the county, Mr. Scott, he's called the,
I got a comment.
yeah.
Yesterday, I had a Zoom call with FDOT, and it was pretty much one of those calls that I could bring up a lot of things.
Gotcha.
And so that's, he promised he's coming to Live Oak and discuss things with us, and that's top of my list as far as the turn arrow and the north and south traffic, because it is an issue. I mean, I see so many towns that have the Lincoln left turn signal and we don't, and it just stacks traffic up all the way back to Dairy Queen. So that's one of my bigger things to talk about. So,
and hearing the train just kind of echoes some other things too. When the train comes through, it's just a nightmare, especially when it's certain times of the day. But getting back on point though with the other, I think we have some opportunities to maybe alleviate all the problems. It's going to require a commitment financially from the city and hopefully the county. If Mr. Sessions can work with them, that would be preferred. But I'd like for him to start making an attempt to talk with them to possibly acquire some property. There is some property that is for sale, and it's, I think we've kind of talked about this previously in CRA and never got any traction. But there's some property just adjacent to the courthouse. I think it's an old restaurant, Mexican restaurant, and then there's like an office building right next to it. If we can work together with the county in some sense to purchase that property and turn it into a parking lot, that would be able to hopefully potentially alleviate the need for those parking spaces on both sides of the road in front of some of those businesses. Now, I can fully expect some pushback, but if you think about the proximity of the buildings and the two or three parking spaces on each side of Highway 129 that are south of Highway 90, it would not be that far to say that's that would be okay to walk there. They're not handicap parking spaces as they stand anyways right now, so there would be no need to meet that. The only pushback would be, I would think, if I were a business owner on the north side of 129, the businesses which be on the east side of the road, I think it's I can't think, there's like an insurance place, so a couple of those. There is some parking though on the cobblestone road back there, and then that parking area east of those buildings as well. So if we could potentially gain some property to make into a parking lot, it would be able, hopefully, we could work with DOT to eliminate those parking areas, which would allow us to not only have 2 lanes going both ways on 129 through, and still have room for a turn lane in the middle. It doesn't have to be the blinking, because they're saying that, if my understanding is correct from what Mr. Sessions was explaining when he met with DOT previously, that the blinking light is not approved there because they're afraid that people are just gonna, run into each other and things of that nature. So it's something to think about, to put into action. I would like to at least give him authorization to check into it, to see what possibilities are out there as far as purchasing the property. And hopefully, I think the county hopefully would be on board. I don't know why everybody wouldn't want to work together to alleviate some of the traffic. Anything I think we can do is better than just sitting here doing nothing. And so I think we've got to start doing something, because it's not going to fix it itself, so to speak. So just trying to be proactive and just basically giving him the permission, the official authorization to engage in some talks with the county administrator, like, hey, what can we do to kind of alleviate these problems? They may have better ideas than me. I'm sure there are a lot more intelligent individuals out there than me, I promise you that, in the world. But I just see an opportunity that's going to require an investment. Yes, you would be acquiring property to demolish it, in a sense, put a parking lot there, but I just need it, in my opinion. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I know there was a couple people that signed up to speak on this, possibly. This will be a good time, and then we can discuss up here. Yes, sir.
Well, this is Clifford. The restaurant was, I'll be short.
Yeah, you're good.
The restaurant was already there. I had
Trying
that
to
on
be
there.
fair.
That's a good idea. And it was discussed at the county, but they were wanting upwards of 400 at the time. They're trying to rate the government.
Yes.
I don't know how y'all could manage that, but I think 400 is way out of range. But also, some cities, they utilize their areas that are on the outskirts, and we got all that area over there by the train station. Shuttle, cheap shuttle could do. I
Gotcha.
like the idea, 2 lanes going both ways on the.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you. Ms. Cheryl?
Cheryl Pruitt, 125 2nd Street, Northwest Live Oak, Florida. I'm just glad to hear that somebody's thinking about it, because we definitely need help in this town concerning the traffic on 129. As my husband and I, we live right off of 129, and it's got so bad, so we can't hardly get out of 2nd Street to even get on there. But other things too that you'd be afraid to even attempt, because the traffic they're flying. I mean, I don't know too much about how, but I'm talking about probably 60 miles an hour coming up through there. And it's very dangerous to even try to get out. And it backs up all the way down. I have seen it back up all the way down to the cemetery. And also the road that, the brick road that runs behind our store coming out to 129. That's just an accident waiting to happen. Because all those people that's parking on the side of the road, which they have the right to do it, I understand that. But you cannot see, when you pull out, you cannot see, going up toward 90 to even get out. So I think that's something, and the other side too. They've got parking places there. They don't need to be there with all the traffic coming in and going. But like I said, there's a lot there, and I really appreciate y'all even bringing the issue up. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I'm going to be here to find out if the Lord permits. And also about the parking, I've said for a long time, like Moses said, why can't people be parking, especially people working in that area over by the railroad, on the other side of the railroad. That's a big place there. But I appreciate too, there's a lot of buildings empty downtown because there's no parking. And I don't care what kind of business you put in, maybe you put in a beer joint, they may walk up to that. I'm not saying they wouldn't do that. But like they have thrift stores and stuff that you'd have to walk a quarter of a mile to get up there and then drag your stuff back down the road. So I really appreciate y'all looking into that, and I'm going to be here to see what you do about it. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Discuss. I guess we need a motion first, and then we can discuss. Yes, somebody will offer a motion.
I'll offer a motion for discussion with possible, letting Larry talk to the city and possibly see what comes about it.
City and county, or just talking?
Yeah,
city?
county.
City and county.
And DOT.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we got a motion
Second.
and a second. All right, discussion.
Yes.
Go ahead.
First of all, the cost of these, I know somebody's gonna investigate the cost of those two buildings that we're looking at. Now, how many parking spots will that create? Will that be part of that investigation as well?
Absolutely.
All right, and, let's see here. Then you talk about eliminating parking on 129, am I correct, Mr. Yoder?
That would be ultimately the,
Right.
the end
So
goal.
open up
Mhm.
2 through lanes and a turn lane.
Yes, I'm not an engineer by any means,
No, no,
but it's feasible.
God knows I know you're not. But anyway.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. But anyway, and I wouldn't say that you are, but anyway, those are the concerns I have. We're talking about cost and all of that, and what's going to factor in the number of parking spots and all that, and then mainly 129 is a DOT road, especially. Now, as if we acquire the property, and you talk about the county, what would the county play a role in, as
Yeah, I think,
leaving those parking lots?
yeah, I
or-
think we're just like, so far, it's in the
Right.
infancy stage, so
Right.
there's been any talks or anything behind the
Right.
scenes. This is just purely,
Uh,
authorization officially
uh-huh.
to give Mr. Sessions an opportunity to look into all those things. And, you know, I mean, you can look at online, on the listing, I think the last time I checked online, both buildings were the property I think was listed, what, 300,000, now there's an option, I think also to purchase just one of the properties, so there's a lot of options out there. I have no clue what the county would be able to kick in, what they'd be willing to do, that's all gonna be, you know what I mean, all discovered with Mr. Sessions when he has talks with those individuals, and hopefully he'll be able to report back to us, I think, before.
Will we add the expense of tearing the buildings down too?
Yeah, I'm sure all that stuff would have to be, I mean, we're putting the cart way before the horse
Yeah.
right now, like I said, but I just think that we gotta start thinking forward, because I can even think forward to, if you create parking there, then that's going to either inhibit growth right next to that. Somebody's gonna see, like, I think there's a gas station, maybe a tent shop right there now. That's either gonna open somebody's eyes into possibly purchasing that or turning that into something else. Or eventually, if that becomes more parking, it makes it helps with the CRA kind of work in juxtaposition and coalesce there together. You make the post office more viable of an option of somebody to purchase and get dual use zoning out of it, maybe businesses and living quarters above. I'm just speculating at this point, but it's I think that it's going to happen eventually, and either it's going to happen, there's going to be more development there, and then more congestion and parking problems along the side of the road. But, something's got to be done, because like I say, nothing's happening right now. I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. So.
Question to CRA. Don't we have plans for that area over by the museum and the railroad track? Is that anything planned for that? And then we're talking about parking, being used as parking there, that area.
Sorry, I didn't know this was going to happen, but yeah, go ahead.
No problem, I'm always-
Introduce yourself.
Hey, Westford Village, City of Live Oaks here. Yes, phase one is the initial driveway, and it'll have parking spaces right there behind the museum. And, as we stated in the last meeting, we finally got the approval for the monitoring wells to be removed in about 90 days from then, so we're probably at like 75 now, around that, so that process can begin. So, I mean, you're still probably a year and a half out from everything on that being ready to go, open parking spaces there, but
And for clarification, I think what he's talking about too, just Monday through Friday, that would be public parking.
that'll be public parking,
There.
fully available to the public to
Mhm.
utilize to walk across the street, do whatever they have to do. Hopefully, as Heritage Square continues, utilize that and for downtown.
Okay.
Judge in again. Great that we're trying to solve a problem that we have, but thinking about purchasing or taking off of the tax roll, the possibility, how long have that place been vacant, and who's the realtor for that as to how they're trying to sell it, what have you?
The last time I checked, there was the individual who owns the property was basically not willing to come down very much on the price, and I don't remember exactly those people's names, to be honest, but
Because we're talking about taking,
it's been vacant for quite a while, I know that restaurant.
taking money off of the tax roll, parking lot, for something that will not generate any type of revenue whatsoever for the city. And we say that we need money. We need, maybe we can, talk to the realtor, see how aggressively they're trying to get rid of the bill, to sell it to someone. But I don't think that, with my personal opinion, and looking out for the well-being, financial well-being of the city, when you're taking something off of the tax roll that will not bring any money whatsoever back in to the citizens who are already strapped for trying to get money for the different things that we need in the city. I don't know if that's the best idea at this time, but looking into it, great, wonderful, no objections whatsoever. But thinking about that we would be taking money off, that we could be bringing money in to take care of some of the things that we need to see. I think we really need to think about that as we're going along. Maybe look at the overall picture of where the city is going to see where we may be able to find other spots that may not have that much value to add, but taking just for parking, paying to get rid of $400,000. I'm just using that number because that's the number that was thrown out for a parking lot, and we generate no income whatsoever off of it. And generate no revenue off of it. I have concerns there, but I'm for
Yes, ma'am. Duly noted.
looking into.
All right, let me say this, I think I'm correct, fact check me. I believe the late Harvey Carroll daughter owns those two properties. She sold the laundromat or not, but that restaurant and those two buildings where the Republic used to house that. Did she pass?
I think she passed.
Wow.
I
Okay.
did.
I know last time I talked to her, she told me that she owns those buildings. Okay.
Not Wendy,
Her daughter owns them.
All right, any further discussion? Ma'am, I see you're at the microphone, but you didn't sign up. I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to recognize you.
Well, I
Well,
question,
I know, but this is not a
No,
this
well,
is
I
not
had
a
to
question.
work
I'm
and
sorry,
have a
but
law.
I know, but I'm sorry, but you had to sign up for the meeting, so I can't break protocol. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Thank
I'll just listen then.
Sure, thank you. All right, so, any further discussion? Sorry. All right, all in favor? Aye, opposed, like sign? All right. Opposed, like sign?
Everybody agree?
Yeah, we agree together. Take a look into it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so we've permitted item B, and now to Mr. Jefferson, your item C through E.
All right, discussion, now, the reason why this is on this agenda, back in November, I believe, I was serving as president for the CRE board, and I was full board member present, and the president was absent. And something was brought up by our city manager concerning the assistant CRE becoming the CRA director. And I know, and council should know, and everyone should know, that any jobs falls up under the jurisdiction of the city manager. He has that right to appoint and all of that to these positions. But because it was said in the CRE meeting And when the members made a motion that that promotion thing would carry over to the city council, that we would hear that and make a vote on that. But meanwhile, it was handled, but because it was still there as an unfinished business, that's why I brought it back up to be settled, that this matter is settled concerning the promotion, and Mr. Curtis assured me for as money going with that title, that will not be. But we know in his resolution, his contract, he has the authority as city manager, he's CEO. So I just want to be able to clear the record that this matter has been taken care of, and it's not a tabled matter from the CRA to the city council and back to us again. That's all, Mr. President, I want to discuss on that.
That's it?
Now, if we need to make a motion to say it's cleared on that
I
matter.
don't think you need a motion to conclude, it's just now, well, it's a matter of record. and
Yes, sir.
everybody confirm.
Yes, sir.
All right. Next item? You're right.
Item D is,
Sorry,
session.
hold on one second. I did,
Sorry.
Mr. Klepper, okay. Sorry, I didn't recognize it. I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, now this item D, we read about discussion with the appointment by Mayor Davis for as, and he has the right and authority to appoint board members, but he also has the right to or remove board members from this from the Housing Authority Board. And one of the biggest issues that I see that we're having with the Housing Authority, Live Oak Housing Authority, not the HUD, not the state, not the national, but the Live Oak, live within this board. And I want Ms. Nita to get up. I need Ms. Williams to get up and elaborate on the Housing Authority and mission statement, and I'll proceed.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Good evening, my name is Anita Williams. I'm here actually with Miss Karen, one of the tenants at the Housing Authority. She's not the first person that's called me about advocating for her. I don't have much time and she can't get up to talk, she didn't sign in. First of all, the board does not have the number of meetings required by them throughout the year. I've gone there, I think, twice and waited with Mr. Fillmore, Mr. Crawford, some other people, and then they don't have enough people for a quorum. So that makes it hard for